Hey guys, welcome to another episode of MTraveller7. Today is the final video of my city review from my European discovery trip with Contiki. And today, my final review for the city will be Paris. Now, Paris is the one city in Europe that I've never been to before. It was on my bucket list. I've always wanted to go to Paris and see Paris. And it was so fitting that Paris was the last city on my trip. I was saving the best for last. And it lived up to my expectations and more. I absolutely fell in love with Paris. So we left Lucerne, which was in Switzerland, and we traveled all day to get to Paris. And we arrived in Paris a couple hours late, and it was dark already by then. So even though we had 2 days in Paris, we kind of only had been 1 day in Paris. That's what happens when you travel. But we went on, after sitting on the bus for over 8 hours, we had a bus tour of the city. So we were on the bus again for another hour or so. But it was great. We saw the Eiffel Tower at night, the Arc de Triomphe at night, a lot of great other famous buildings and that at night, all lit up, and it was really, really wonderful. The next day, early in the morning, we got up and we went to the Eiffel Tower. And being with Contiki, you get off the bus, you go through security, and you're up the Eiffel Tower. Now, the Eiffel Tower has 2 stages of security. Not sure why, but they have 2 stages of security. And then you go up the Eiffel Tower, and we had our tickets included to go up to the very top, to the highest observation deck. So we went up there, and as soon as we got up there, we had our own free time until late that afternoon, until 4 o'clock or something like that, 3-4 o'clock. So we had a good 5-6 hours to do anything that you wanted to do. So I stayed up on the Eiffel Tower for a while, took some great shots and footage around the tower, and then I decided to head down. I walked all the way up to the Arc de Triomphe, and I probably should have taken the metro now, but now I decided to walk it, and I got there, and the Arc de Triomphe is absolutely massive. And the Arc de Triomphe is this giant roundabout, and the only way to get to the center is to go underneath. So I went underneath and got some great footage around the Arc de Triomphe, and then after that I walked down the street to the nearest metro station, got on the metro, and got off at the Louvre. I didn't actually go inside the museum. I just walked around. There's a lot of souvenir shops and cafes and that. I bought a nice fresh baguette sandwich and went across the street to where the Louvre sits on. There's this nice big open park, and people are just sitting there relaxing, enjoying life, not having to worry about work. They're on their lunch break and stuff like that, but they're just enjoying life, enjoying the nice warm October weather in Paris. And I sat there for about an hour or so and enjoyed lunch and just relaxed a little bit, which was absolutely amazing. And then after that, I hopped back on the metro and went to the Notre Cathedral. And that was pretty amazing. Everyone knows what the Notre Dame Cathedral looks like, seen in photographs, and when you get there, it looks exactly like it. We went back to our designated meeting point, and we were going to spend our last evening doing the Moulin Rouge dinner and show. Now this was an extra activity, me time, as Contiki likes to call it, and it was 130 euros or 140 euros in that, which was around $190, $200 Canadian. And I didn't know too much about it at first. I thought it was just a show, but when I found out it was dinner and a show you dine while the performance is going on, and it's like a 4-hour event in that. It was like, yeah, and they were saying, oh, you have to do it. You go to Paris, you have to see the Moulin Rouge, the cabaret show. And I was like, okay. I still had a lot of euros left, considering it was the end of my trip. So I decided to go, and I'm so glad I did. The show was absolutely amazing. You have 3 courses. You have live music while you're eating, and that goes on for about an hour to 2 hours. And then after that, the actual live stage performance starts, and with women and men dancing and performing. There's one performance where people were on rollerblades, and the man was like spinning the woman around on this narrow platform that could only, it's only at least maybe a meter to a meter and a half in diameter, and it was pretty crazy. I thought she was gonna throw her off into the crowd in that, but it was a great experience, great way to end my European discovery trip with Contiki. After that, we went to a restaurant slash bar slash club just down the street, and went there and had a couple of drinks and just enjoyed our last night together, because that was our last night on the trip. And the next day, that was the end of the trip. Some people stayed in Paris for a couple of days. Some people were going home. Some people were heading to the airport or the train station to go to other places in Europe. I went home with a couple other Canadians, so that was pretty nice. We got to go home, got pretty much the same flights going back to Montreal, and then from Montreal to Toronto. And that was it. And, you know, you meet all these people from all over the world. When you start off the tour, you don't know them at all. And by the end of it, it's tough to say goodbye to all these people. And same when I worked on the cruise ships, it's tough to say goodbye when you leave, because you really bonded with all these people. You've experienced so many things with these people. You have lots of memories with all these people, and it's pretty sad to say goodbye, because, you know, we all live in so many different parts of the world, and trying to meet up, and that is very difficult. But, you know, that's what one good thing about Facebook is, because a lot of, over half of my Facebook friends are from other countries, from all around the world. So I had a great time with Contiki. Paris was absolutely amazing. Learned a lot about the history of Paris, and having been to Paris now, I can see why the French revere it so much and love it so much. I can understand their passion and dedication to Paris and France now, and it's one of my favorite cities in the world. So make sure you check out my Paris video and my Paris short film, kind of made like a vintage style, old school film reel of showing some of the highlights of Paris. Make sure you watch my previous episodes of reviewing my Contiki cities that I was in, my Contiki review. I'll put links to those in the description below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment, like, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I will see you next time.